Welcome back to the Raspy Rundown.
Hello, daughter Alexandra. It's been forever.
It's been so long on the mic.
How long would you say? 2 hours? 2 hours.
2 hours since we last recorded.
I'm trying to get used to this mic again. I think it's 2 years. Is it 2 years?
No, it was last February. So like just a little bit over a year.
Oh, wow. That still feels like 2 years.
Our last guest was Morgan. I think Morgan, we love
Horny Housewife. Oh my God.
It was a horny housewife?
Oh, no, you're right. I think it was Morgan.
Yes.
I think you're right.
We love both. We love Morgan and we love the horny housewife. So hey, Jordan. Hey, Morgan.
And yeah, maybe we could get them both on.
Yeah, we want to definitely get some guests. Leo.
2023. Wow, it's hard to believe 2023. And we're going to have a bunch of great guests as well as brand new topics. We're going to hit this ground running, as they say, and hopefully bring the audience more fun, more giggles, and more, let's see, what would you say? Not advice, but I would say mother-daughter banter and openness and less conservatism from my perspective, which I pretty much think I'm not as conservative as I'd like to think I was, based on what we're going to talk about today and our fantastic trip that we just went on in Miami, which was amazing. So let's bring it to them, Alexandra. You start. Go ahead.
So we went to Miami, which is, as you know, like where the Raspy Rundown was born. We gave birth at the Biltmore Hotel to the Raspy Rundown. And we went back for our friend and trainer Leo's birthday. Obviously, I feel like our new listeners, you'll get to know. But for those of you who know, you know Leo. And he's a personal trainer in Miami. He turned 40. So we went to Miami. And of course, like, you know what we had to do? We had to shop. You know, we had to try all the best restaurants, of course. So it was
Are you saying it was also for us as well?
Yeah.
We love Leo. Shout out to Leo. We do him virtually. Alexandra's in LA and I'm Connecticut, but we continue to do him virtually religiously for like the last, when did I start? 3 or 4 years ago? Right. So it was for our friend Leo, but the perks were the shopping and the restaurants.
Yes. And so we went shopping and so we had a lot of great ups on this trip. Buying clothes was one of them. But then we had some downs as well. I think we should start with the fact that for some reason, guys, we can't go on a vacation without getting in a car accident. And
that's right.
It happens every time.
I mean, it's crazy. So like literally last time we were together with Leo was in LA and we were celebrating Alexandra's birthday. And we were coming home with Leo. Dad was driving. We had a rental car. And we got hit and run by somebody at like 2:30 in the morning. We were coming home from a dance club. Never saw the guy. And of course, we got screwed because we couldn't stop him. So from then on, Dad said he was going to purchase extra insurance through American Express. And I was just like, why do we need to do that? Bring us to last week. I'm glad we did it because tell them what happened.
So it was a week ago today. Oh my gosh. This time
in the morning, after breakfast.
Went to Pure Vita, which is like the spot if you're in Miami, the best breakfast spot ever. We love it there.
We do. We need to get one of those in Richfield. One thing about living here is you just don't have the great breakfast places. That place is awesome. And we were getting food for ourselves and we had leftovers.
Yes. And so we're like, okay, let's be good people and bring the leftovers to the hotel and we can give it to Leo because Leo likes turkey bacon. And we're driving there. We drop the leftovers off and then we obviously have to go shopping again. So we wanted to make like a left at this really busy intersection road where we didn't realize like, you know, we could go right and go all around, or we could go left and make it right to like the quick exit. And my dad went left. And yes, you might be thinking, wait a minute, is St. Vincent the Vegan King the common denominator? And yes, he is the driver again. That's neither here nor there though. So we go to make a left and boom, we hit our good friend. What's his name again?
I don't know this guy, but we hit some guy that I don't remember.
Look at his name. Shoot, he was
no, I can't remember. Hey, Vin, what was the guy's name? Vin? What was the guy's name that we hit? What was the guy's name that we hit in the accident? We're talking
Alan. A-L-E-A-L.
Oh, Alan. Yes, Alan.
My husband became friends with Alan. Even he's actually, as we speak, my husband took off his earphones, which he never does, probably listening to another podcast, not ours, or a movie or nutritional advice. He took them off just now to say Alan, and he he just now presented with the spelling to me, Allan. He became friends with this guy, Alan, right, Alexandra?
No, we
We
hit
got
Alan.
hit. He was a work truck.
No, we hit Alan. Let's be clear. We didn't get
Oh,
him.
yes, that's true. On my side again. Second time, I want you to know. This time it was the bumper and it was a bad bump. This guy and dad forged a friendship. It was the funniest thing. Alexandra and I are like, oh shit. Of course, my darling daughter's like, now we have to be a few hours late to go shopping. How are we going to continue our shopping? And I said to Alexandra, oh my God, it's dad's fault. In all the years I've known him, he's never been at fault. So next thing we know it, we're calm, we're fine. He gets out. Alan is in a work truck. Alan just moved there a few months ago and he was going to work, and they, exchanged their information. And next thing you know it, they're shaking hands, becoming buddies. And then the police officer arrived. Well, this seemed to go on for hours. I mean, it felt like an eternity. How about you? Did you think it was like,
because not only that, but then we had to go get a new rental car, which took forever because their system went down. And obviously, like, we're all super lucky. No one got hurt. It was just like a minor inconvenience more than anything in like the 1,000-degree heat of Miami. But it's just like, how does this keep happening? And like, I've hit my car into the parking garage right across the street from that hotel at my building twice, going 0 miles per hour.
right.
Just not gauging the distance and depth of the wall and hitting it not once, but twice within the span of 2 weeks, my car. And it's just like, dang, these accidents just keep on happening.
And we were like one of those people you see when you drive by and you go, ooh,
That sucks.
I'm glad I'm not them, because we
Mhm.
literally were in the middle of the road. And then Alexandra decided to call Leo, who was across the street in his apartment, and he came out to make it a family affair. And we're like, oh, we did damage to a car. Is that great? But this time it was Vinny's fault. All good, all said and done. We got on our way. We were able to make the day up. We did more damage with shopping, and we just, made everything later. And that was great. That was great. We just, put our dinner reservation later, right? We had a great dinner.
Mhm.
And then Alexander told us we were going to go to a dance club, which I wouldn't call it exactly just a dance club. To me, it was more of a strip club, but Leo wanted to go there. You could describe what we decided to do that night after dinner, 8:30 dinner.
Yeah, so we decided to go to 11, which some of you might know 11 is like the premier 24-hour club in Miami, and it's so many. I've seen Cardi B perform there, and they have like a stage in the middle. But yes, that stage in the middle does have a stripper pole on it. And honestly, I have to say it was much more strip club than I remember. Literally, it was just like everyone throwing like the whole.
Now you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it was that being that strippery, but like it was literally just like naked top. I don't even remember girls being topless before, but it was just like a bunch of topless girls dancing on the stage on private tables. And nobody was even dancing besides the dancers. Like no one, and they were, I don't know if I would call that dancing, but they were performing. Yeah. And like nobody was really dancing like a dance club. And so we're like, okay, but Leo was having the time of his life, like dancing around, videoing it. We explored the whole club. We went up, we went down. We found a photo booth for us to
That was fun.
video in it. And yes, thank God the photo booth was free. We paid enough to get in. I would hope that would have been a free perk. But so, I mean, I don't know. Have you ever been to a strip club with your parents? Because I have. And
well, I gotta say I guess we're pretty liberal, Dad and I, because we were just rolling with it. I'm like, first of all, the vibration in this place was insane. And I literally was like, this is not good for my hearing, but I'm rolling with it. But there's got to be an area that's quiet. Well, it was very hard to find a quiet area. And when we first got there, we went down the steps and I was like, this is going to be great. And you have to understand the stage was like on our level. So I literally could touch these naked girls, which I, believe me, did not do. But I was so close. And there were men throwing dollar bills and, doing their thing, hitting the girls' butts. Some girls were, taking their tops off. Some were keeping them on. But to me, it was like entertainment because I have never seen this in my life. 56 years old. And I'm going, oh my God, this is like a first for me. I think it's going to be a last, but I went with it. It was fun. Obviously you could do anything, dress any way you want. We went home, we changed our outfits before we went to this club to be more in the dance mode scene. So it was fun. I said, if I don't get COVID now, I never will. We didn't even drink. We were people watching. And, then remember I asked you, there were a couple of areas where girls were looking at girls. I'm like, wait, is that normal? are those girls interested in those girls? And you're like, that's what girls do. They go to strip clubs and they watch other girls, and old men, young men, mostly old guys, and very young girls. So we were more like just people watching and having fun. And yeah, it was,
And dad was so awkward. He literally didn't know where to look. He just tried to look everywhere but at the women. And then it was
someone tried to pick him up, remember?
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
she
really funny.
apologized to me.
And then she's like, oh, sorry. And then my dad like grabbed my mom and put his hand around her. He was all awkward and uncomfortable.
Although dad did say, aren't we supposed to get, am I supposed to get a lap dance because I'm coming with you? Like, it's like, and then when we got home, even like yesterday, or was it, I don't even know if it was today, dad's joking with me now. Every time I'm like, oh, I need some money, he starts to take the money and he puts it in my butt or my back. I'm like, okay, Vinny, I get the idea. This is rubbing off on you too much.
Goes to a strip club once.
Oh my God, he was joking, but it was funny. It was funny. It was, yeah, it was something we neither one of us shared. I mean, he's been obviously to strip clubs for business, but, and also just he has, and I've never in my life. So to me, I felt like I was at Magic Mike, except with females and more raunchy.
You lost your strip club virginity at 56 years
I
old.
I did.
It was an
I was
experience.
proud of it.
And Leo's like, I love it. I can't wait to go back. I'm gonna go again, even though like literally you like told every girl to F off that came up to him. He was like,
it was so funny. So funny. And dad was like, I paid enough to get into this place. I'm not giving money. I'm not gonna give any dollars.
He wouldn't even spare a dollar.
Yeah, Leo was like, well, I didn't know it was this. I would have brought money on me, but I had no money. I'm like, Leo, you could get change. I'm sure you have a couple dollars. So I think next time we'll go more to a club where there's more dancing, but it was fun. It was actually fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I could say I've been there now.
Yeah, and that's like the premier club in Miami. And then other than that, I'd say we got into a really hot debate on this trip, which is like where our age differences is going to come into play, because
oh boy,
shopping at Nikki's Boutique, shout out, we love Nikki's, we love Market.
Love it. Favorite place.
So we love to match, as you know, we're weird like that. So we bought a bunch of matching bikinis and different bikinis, and literally every girl in the entire store, like the salespeople and the customers, are like, oh my gosh, you have such a hot body to my mom. Like, we work out Body by Leo, whatever. But like, she's when she's
hey, Leo.
Yeah, and you have such a great body. And like, meanwhile, you're afraid to show it off. You're like, oh, is this inappropriate for a woman of my age to wear a cheeky bikini or a bikini at all? And you know, you even said to me, someone had said to you like, oh, that's kind of inappropriate that you actually wore that. And it's like, this is where I have a problem of mom shaming. And in terms of like, once you're a mom and you're a wife, you can't be hot or sexy anymore. You have to like only wear covered up clothes because you're a mom. You can't, you know, have a good body or look great. And I really feel like that has changed a lot over the years, and people are like proud to show off their bodies. Like, I wrote about a woman who's in her 70s for a roundup for International Women's Day, and she wears bikinis and she wears like everything she posts, I take screenshots of, because like that's the style I would wear. And she's so many years older than me and she looks amazing and she flaunts it. And that's what I think society is evolving to, of like, no, you can be, yes, I know a lot of moms actually who like, we can be hot moms and we can be hot and moms, and there's not like a one or other, you know what I mean? I think that's what a lot of people are moving towards, but the fact that you still have that old school mentality, like, talk about that.
So what I think is kudos to people that can do that. And I'm comfortable in my body. What I find tough is, I find, number one, yes, I had never gotten a certain kind of bikini that was cheeky. I always got the regular full coverage ones, but still bikinis. I've always worn bikinis. For me, and it goes beyond just the bikinis, it also includes the dresses, the workout tops. When what I'm trying to explain to Alexandra is that I'll wear certain colors, bright colors, certain cutoffs, certain kinds of looks, but for me, it has to be the right fit geographically. So in other words, what I mean by that is, if I'm in Miami, if I'm in Cabo, which I went to a few months ago, if I'm in California visiting Alexandra, because since we've had the podcast, obviously, guys, she moved to LA, I'm totally in my own zone, comfortable with the bright colors, comfortable with the cutoffs, comfortable with a little bit of the cheeky bikinis. What I'm not comfortable about is if I'm in conservative Connecticut, or I'm in Maine, or I'm in like New York, like not even, I don't know, Brooklyn or whatever, somewhere, if I'm in a pool area that it's really small and we're all contained, we're all close to each other, and it's not really a beachy resort in New England, I feel uncomfortable.
Why?
I feel like I would wear more of my less brighter colors. Like say I'm going for a walk on the trail in Connecticut. I won't wear that pink cutoff. I'll wear the gray one or the
Why?
black.
But why? Like,
I feel it has to do with the environment of the people that are in those areas. And I know it sounds crazy because I'm comfortable and I'm secure with myself and I feel confident in what I'm wearing and presenting, but I feel like personally for me, it sounds weird. I don't want to stand out. I sort of want to blend in. So like in Miami, California, LA, I sort of blend in because everybody's colorful, everybody's doing whatever. So for me, I can wear these kinds of outfits, and I so appreciate you being such a big supporter of embracing my athletic build, embracing my looks. Same with the women at these stores, all being like supportive. But what's hard for me is to take those outfits, whether it be bikini dress, workout, and wear it in an environment that's more of a conservative northeastern, kind of vibe.
but is it the
That's what I'm saying.
environment? Is it the environment or is it the people in the environment? Like, are you
Yeah, I
saying
think, yeah, good point. So I think it's a combo. I think part of what the environment is doing is bringing out the people that are in that particular environment. For example, where I live in Connecticut, it's much more countrified, it's upscale, but it's much more, I would say, conservative and more earthy. Whereas if I go to, say, the Hamptons, I would totally feel fine with the Long Island people, totally fine. And then if I take it even a step further and go to Puerto Rico or go to Florida, any part of Florida, I'm completely comfortable with these outfits, even as well far as talking about just silly crop tops. I am totally comfortable with crop tops. However, certain colors in the crop tops I won't wear in my town.
so that's a whole different debate of like, that's crazy. Like, I guess I guess it's a mix of both. But then
Yeah.
this is more of like, I don't feel like, and that's so stupid because I just feel like if you look good, you can rock it. And, you should understand that I met a woman actually the other day and she's from DC and
Okay.
she said that they're so behind the times in style, which is such a funny thing to hear, like Washington, DC. And I just think that like you should still dress to who you are and dress LA because like that is your vibe. And I wouldn't hold back for anyone because who cares what these Lily Pulitzer are wearing? Love Lily Pulitzer, but like
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I blend with whatever environment. I'm sort of a chameleon. I mean, I, I take on different looks and different vibes based on my location.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm comfortable doing that based on the location. So
Yeah.
it's not to say I don't wear. That's why I actually did purchase a lot of fun, cute tops and dresses and outfits because and bathing suits. Oh my gosh, I got my first two cheeky bikinis, which
Nice.
it's fun. And it's funny. I asked Leo on that last day we were there, and I'm like, Leo, what do you think? Is that appropriate being my age? He goes, Debbie, my cousin's on Housewives of Miami. You're what did he say? I'm a Amish. I dress Amish compared to the way that his cousins dress or his, his whatever, his relatives dress on that show. For me, I guess it's how you look at things. But I feel it's more acceptable when I'm in the Miami zone or when I'm in LA. I just feel it. I feel comfortable and I feel that I can embrace it. And that's one thing about where I live that I don't care for, that I feel like I'm more covered up where I am, that people would never know how athletic I am. I even had a friend that said, oh my God, Debbie, I didn't know you were in that great shape. Well, because I take on a different persona when I'm in these other environments. It's outside, everything's outside. We're always exercising. Here, you exercise, but you're inside a lot more because of the cold. You're covered up more. It's just one of those
change
things.
that. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should just dress how you want. But then also someone said to you, then also someone say like, oh, I can't believe you wore that. So that was a little bit of like a
Yeah,
weird.
like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have that kind of confidence to wear that.
I don't know if that's what they said. Didn't they say like, I can't believe you wore something like that?
I think, yeah, I think someone did say that. Yes, I can't believe you wore some. And also, there was another comment that most people were just like, oh, that's great. Oh, I know. You posted a picture of me trying on those workout tops and you wrote pretty in pink or Barbie. And I felt, oh my gosh, are people going to think I'm calling myself a Barbie? But I got great responses.
You need to embrace it. Here's the thing. You need to have like a difference between being cocky and like confident. Like I feel like people will agree. If you look good and you feel good in your skin and you work so hard and work out all the time and put all this effort and you dress nice, like you should be able to show it off. People post themselves all the time and call themselves, the prettiest girl in the room or whatever. And you should be able to embrace that. Like, why would you want to go throughout your life? Like you're only going to look this good until a certain point. I mean, or forever, but why would you want to go through the life without ever embracing that?
I think it's like an age shame thing for me. I think for me, it's more because I'm older that I feel like, oh, look at me. People think I'm conceited. So my thought is, I got to do what I'm comfortable with. But I also tend to think, well, it's either that or move my location and get the hell out of Connecticut and go somewhere warm. Because I feel like for most of like, obviously, California and other places that are beachy areas, and anything goes.
Yeah.
So that's the way I feel. But I guess to each his own. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even take that step and do what I do and feel that they couldn't even dress like that. For me, I have fun. I feel like I'm not bragging. I'm embracing, and I'm doing like what the vacation mode is calling for. And if I live there, it would be more like an everyday thing anyway. So because I don't live in those spots, I have fun with it. But because of you, I do thank you. You are like my number one supporter. You encourage me to get those bright colors, get those fun outfits. And then you were so nice. You bought me and surprised me and got me a bikini, the same one as yours, because you knew I loved it. So it's fun.
It's super fun. And guys, go to the Raspy Rundown on Instagram. It takes 2 seconds and DM us what you think on this debate. Like, do you think you should not wear certain things when you're a certain age? Do you think that's an old way of looking at things? Do you feel insecure about wearing certain things based on your age or location? Just takes 2 seconds right now. Type in Raspy Rundown while you're listening to this and DM us what you think on this topic. We want to read some listener responses and your own like opinions and what you've dealt with around this topic, your own experiences with it.
Exactly. And I think what makes us unique from other podcasts are, we are doing the mother-daughter banter. We do have different opinions. We agree on some things, we disagree on other. And I feel that it's cool to have like a daughter wanting her mother to keep her youth and to enjoy it and embrace it. Because getting older doesn't have to mean you have to feel like you're old. You want to power through it and keep your youth. And, I had a grandmother that lived to be 100 and she was very, very youthful looking. Right. So you do what you need to do. I mean, I'm happy that, if that's, like you said, if that's what you think I should do, maybe just continue doing it. I'm saving a lot of money. I don't even do any fillers, no Botox, just dress young. That's it. That's all I do. What's wrong with that? Plenty of people, they use fillers, they do Botox. I haven't done any of that yet. Right. 56 years old. So my what would you say? My physical regimen is just dressing young and dressing fun.
And that's genetics. The way I look at it. And genetics and working out. But okay, guys, let us know. Welcome to a new segment we like to call Debbie Dishes. So
Debbie Dishes, what is the real question here?
I know. So this is going to be a little celebrity news segment, and I'm just going to run through some celebrity news, things that are happening, the pop culture, breaking news, and I want to get my mom's take on it because obviously, generationally wise, I feel like one big one, we'll jump right into it. What we'll start with is Vanderpump Rules, but I have heard such a different response from people of my mom's age versus people my age. Like, and it's not to say it's everyone, but I will say, so for those of you who don't know, you live under a rock. No, I'm kidding. For those of you who don't know, the show Vanderpump Rules, I worked at the restaurant Sir, and pretty much Tom Sandoval and Ariana were a couple. They were together for nearly 10 years. They have a house together. And turns out he was cheating on her for 7 months with one of her best friends, who was also a cast member on the show named Raquel. And when I told my mom and a lot of other people, some of my friends' moms, they're just like, cheating happens all the time. What's the big deal? I don't understand. Where it's like everyone my age and also me. And also it's people who are older and also watch the show that have said that to me. Like, I don't understand the big deal. And then you have like my mom who doesn't watch, and Howie Mandel, who Tom Sandoval finally gave a side of the story to Howie Mandel, which I love him, but that was so random. And he said, like, mistakes happen. I don't understand the big deal. Versus people my age are like, this is disgusting. Like, this is catastrophe, shook by the fact that he was having an affair with her best friend, deceitful for 7 months. But what do you think about the situation? And I just want to add, right now, pretty much where they're at is Ariana was making out with a new guy at Coachella. She's on a girls' trip in London right now. Raquel is said to be at a mental health facility, and Tom supposedly was at that mental health facility with her, which it looks like it's a resort and a spa called Miraval in Arizona. And it looks like it's more of like a wellness retreat where there's hiking and camping, and housewives have gone there actually for fun in the past to film. So people are questioning, is this really even a mental health retreat, or is this some like lovers getaway? Like, what's really happening? So what do you think about all this?
So basically, because I don't really follow it, I really have not really read anything about it. My first reaction was what you said, like, what's the big deal? People cheat. And what I also thought was interesting is, because it's a reality show, I was thinking, well, wouldn't that make great news, great vibe, great storyline for the actual show, since everything they do is realistic and it's not a forced or scripted show? Like, I didn't understand why that wouldn't add to the rating. I mean, I understand personally if the people that love, who's the woman he cheated on, Ariana?
Yes.
Ariana? Yeah, like, I could understand Lala likes Ariana, so I follow Lala, but
yeah, everyone loves Ariana. Like, she's such a nice girl. I mean, it's honestly, that's devastating for that to happen. But I think, like, and obviously nobody condones cheating. Like, we don't, but I think we're people of like an older generation. I think what they don't understand is like the masses being so angry, and like, yes, you've watched these people on television, but they're not your friends, like to try to destroy Tom's businesses and like be like, let's, like, I don't know. It's just the mob mentality. Like, obviously, I don't think that they're good people. Like, what they did is horrible, but it's like, where do people draw the line between like trying to fight people in public and bash their restaurants and like outrage every single day? Like, is it really your life? And I don't know if that's, or maybe they should be doing that. Maybe they should be outraging and being like, you get what you just what you deserve. But like, where is the line drawn between like people might like being like, we're just watchers and viewers, and you're so deeply invested and involved that you want to like vandalize restaurants? And
is that what happened? People were vandalizing restaurants?
Yeah, they like left a bunch of bad Yelp reviews. They were like going to the restaurant and like screaming, like, and it's just, I don't know, like, and they were boycotting for a while.
Now, when you say that, you're talking about just the general public,
like fans of Ariana and stuff like that.
Because what I'd be interested in knowing, and again, I don't know anything about this, is what did the director feel? Did the director?
I'm sure they're happy. I'm sure everyone.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
but even like Sheena said, "Oh, we're definitely getting another season. Like, they are going to get another season. Like, what happened was bad, but the ratings are higher than ever."
That's what I was thinking. For me, I was like, wait, isn't that part of the show? Isn't that what the show, like, personally, taking a step back from the show, it's not a good thing for the people they care about. Lala cares about that, Ariana, but as far as the ratings for the show and what fans want to see, I thought, why would the show be blamed as a whole? Why wouldn't just those two individuals?
No, they are being blamed, those two individuals, but here's the question. How are they going to film next season? Everyone literally hates Tom and Raquel. Nobody wants to be in the same room as them. How are we going to film a television show? Do you think they're going to have to film two whole different scenes and storylines, and we're literally watching?
Why not just fire them? Or does the producer and director
want to? If they fire them, then where does the scandal go? I mean, that's the thing. Should they just fire them and hire new people, or are people going to want to watch? Like, as much as everyone's like, we love Ariana, well, then wouldn't it be best for Ariana if Tom and Raquel were off the show? But I feel like a lot of people, and maybe they do want that, but I think a lot of people want to watch this play out too. Well, if you want to watch this play out, then Tom and Raquel have to be on the show. So which is it?
Right. So you're saying all the cast members are against them? Not one of them.
How are they going to film? Oh, no, nobody likes them. Only Tom Schwartz, who is Tom Sandoval's business partner and like knew about the affair the whole time. And like, literally, he was on Andy Cohen, and Andy was like, is there anything you want to say? Like, and that was maybe his chance to like redeem himself and be like, what they did is horrible. He literally looks at the monitor and is like, Tom, I'll never abandon you. It's like, really? That's what you took your 5 minutes to say?
Wow.
He's like, I'll never abandon you, Tom. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So like, again, I'm trying to understand, what is, like, people cheat? Like, what's the big deal? Is it because everybody was fooled on the show? They all feel like their pride is sort of like, oh my gosh, how could we be so foolish and not to have seen this? Is that why they're all so
For some
angry?
people, like Sheena and Raquel were best friends. She gave her a place to live. She would Ariana even and Sheena defended Raquel so much against people who said bad things about her. Like, and they were like, she's not a whore, she's not a bad person. And then to defend someone for 7 months, for years and years, and find out they were betraying you. I mean, that's horrible. But I just
Right.
wonder, why does the older generation, like, why is everyone being like, oh, it's just cheating? Why is no one being like, this is disgusting and vile? Like,
Because I think that I think most of us think that that's what these shows are, the housewives, and they're basically just another extension of, relationships. And that's what's making the story flow. That's what's making the show, the ratings go up. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, why is that? Isn't that what this whole show is about? Again, maybe people are like me, they don't really watch the show, and those are the assumptions they're making.
right, but
If I was watching it, to be honest, if I was watching it, what would I be watching? Would I be watching the relationship unfold every week? And then I would be shocked.
well,
And
yes.
then my reaction would be completely different.
Okay.
For somebody, I think like me, it's not because it's my age, it's because maybe my age group isn't watching it.
So what would
I
you
watch
do if you were Ariana? Would you come back to the show? Would you go off and live your life? Like, what should happen next season? Like, do you think do you think she should like live her life and move on and heal? Or do you think it's healthy for her to come back to that environment, not giving a crap about Tom, but like making the money and staying on television, maybe finding a new guy? What would be the right thing to do?
I mean, I think if she likes the show enough, she could totally make it work. Like you said, they could do different films, scenes, not together. And they could do, a day in the life of her, a day in the life of them, and how things are progressing. Because they're going to have to come up with other, I mean, is anything on that show not real?
No,
Or
it's
is it
all real. It's all real. We're just gonna have to see what happens next season. I mean, we're either gonna have to film 2 different like shows pretty much, or they're gonna have to come together at some point. But it just really depends.
I know. And I think that they're foolish not to keep that part of the show together. I think that would be a great draw, even if it's not the whole focus of the show, but it's a side note of the show. I think it would be a great idea to keep it together. So we'll see. And again, maybe you'll encourage me to send me some clips. I'll watch Andy Cohen, the reunion, and maybe I'll start watching that show. Because I watched maybe a couple. That's it, 1 or 2.
Yeah, gotta catch you up. Okay, our next hot topic is going to be Megan Fox and MGK. So I just want to say, for a quick background, this story irks me like no other, because on Super Bowl Sunday, like around that time, I think it was, Megan Fox posted a really cryptic series of photos with like a burning envelope in a fire pit. And she said a caption of Beyonce lyrics that were alluding to cheating. And she deleted every single photo of MGK from her page and followed 3 of his like known enemies, Eminem, Harry Styles, Timothy Chalamet, and what he has against those 2, I don't know. I'm assuming those are guys maybe she finds hot that he was jealous of. I don't even know. But she did all of that, and everyone went crazy, and they're like, oh my God, they broke up. He cheated on her. And they were spotted at marriage counseling days later. And she came on the internet and literally blasted the media, being like, you guys are idiots. There was nobody else involved in this. Like, you guys make things up. You need to stop. And what really bothers me is like, nobody would have known anything was going on if she hadn't posted. Like, you literally posted cryptic things, followed his enemies, deleted the photos of him. What did you expect to happen? Like, nobody would ever know something was up unless she did that. So how are you going to be mad at the media? Ouch. When like you literally did all of it to draw our attention to it. And then I'm thinking, like, if it wasn't cheating and if it was like maybe he relapsed or something else, well, you wouldn't then follow all the guys that he hates. You know what I mean? Like, that seems very tit for tat cheating.
Exactly. And it's like attention seeking at her own choice. Like, she chooses when she wants the attention. And then when the media follows up, she gets very resentful. It's ridiculous. I mean, you're in the spotlight. Yes, you have some privacy, but you're really looking not for privacy. And it's, again, the way she went about it.
No one would have known.
Right. Because you had said something in the past to me that tell the viewers about a lot of times, which I didn't even know, that the media doesn't always go after people unless you call them.
Oh, the paparazzi. So
Paparazzi.
I've heard that the paparazzi, unless you call them, they don't, and like, unless you're like a huge A-lister, like
Right.
the paparazzi wouldn't know that you're at a marriage counseling office in Agora Hills for 3 hours unless like, you call them,
Right.
you know? And I doubt the marriage counselor's calling them. Like, I don't know. And then now they've been seen in Hawaii and they're holding hands and she's like riding his back on the beach. And apparently a source says that she feels like he is her soulmate, but there is no wedding date. Like, do you think they're going to walk down the aisle?
No, I don't see it happening. They are no Travis Barker and what, Kourtney Kardashian?
Oh, yes.
They're not. They're not.
I know. What do you
Although
think?
the four of them are friends, right?
Oh, yeah, they're all friends. And
I think,
no, go on.
I was going to say, I think Kourtney Kardashian, Travis Barker, are the real deal. They were good friends. They don't seem like they're toxic. They seem like they have a genuine friendship foundation with the great relationship that, you know, that built on it, that's built on their friendship, their romantic part. So I think there's someone that's going to last. I do think Megan Fox could not have chose more opposite of her ex-husband, Brian Austin Green, who, by the way, I never really thought Brian Austin Green was a great guy, but I tend to respect him now more with the Sharna. They just see, and again, even with the Sharna relationship, you know, I wonder, do you think Sharna would ever get married? Why aren't they getting married? Sharna and Brian Austin Green. I wonder about that. Something tells me they don't want to get married either.
Yeah, they might not want to. I will give you some tea on Kourtney Kardashian. So
Okay.
Travis Barker has 2 kids, you know, with his ex-wife, Shannon Moakler. Well, she has been with like an abusive guy. Like they kept getting arrested for like domestic abuse and like drinking things. And he always said like pretty much the consensus was that he raised the kids and she wasn't really involved. And I don't know why exactly, but she, the wedding special came out for Kourtney and Travis. And at the wedding, Landon gave a speech being like, you are like the mother to me. You know, I love you so much. And Alabama is like, I love you. You're my mom. And so the ex-wife, Shannon, is pissed. The mother of Landon in Alabama, she like said on social media, you know, Kourtney posts more of my kids than her own. Like no one wants to remember that Travis cheated on me all throughout our marriage. And so
is that true?
Alabama and Landon have now blocked their mom on social media. They unfollowed her and they don't want anything to do with her. What do you think?
So they don't live with her? They don't live with
they have never lived with her. They've lived with Travis forever. I think they went back and forth at one point, but now they're completely cut off contact with her. And maybe it's because of her boyfriend that, you know, you see your mom in a really unstable relationship and you see your dad in a stable relationship, you're going to lean towards wanting to be close to your dad. But I mean, I have to also think that bashing the stepmom who your kids really love is not going to be a way to connect with your kids.
100%. That's really a good point. And you know, the thing is too, I always think about Kourtney Kardashian, how she never even married that Scott Disick.
Yeah, this was her first marriage.
Yeah, so I really think it's she's of her sisters, she's the most stable. Yeah. I think she wasn't in a good relationship for all those years, and that's why she was smart enough not to ever get married to Scott, because she knew Scott was not going to be somebody that would be a good influence in her life or their children's lives,
right?
Even though he's the father of their kids.
Well, guess who just got married? Sophia Richie. Sophia Richie.
Oh, I thought she's getting married.
No, well, I think she just got married like right now, today, in this moment. She's married.
A French guy, right?
Yes. So in France, she got married. And remember, she was with Scott Disick. And I'll never forget, Lionel Richie was like, I'm not worried at all. This is a phase. I'm not getting involved.
Yes.
Right.
He was right. That's right. Because I remember Scott dating her. And then right after that, then he started dating Lisa Rinna's daughter.
Lisa Rinna's daughter, Amelia.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Who is this guy that she's marrying from France?
I think a businessman, someone that's low key and not in the spotlight. I think he might be a little bit older too, but yeah, now they're married. But, you know, speaking of marriages, let's talk about a marriage ending. We have Jimmy Allen, the country singer.
Oh gosh.
His wife, who is pregnant with their 3rd child, they are getting a divorce. They announced it all in one. Hey, I'm pregnant and I'm leaving my man.
Very, very odd. Like, and it makes me wonder, was she pregnant with another person's child? And he's just supporting her, and that's the way they want to go out with this, because they figured that the pregnancy story is going to come out and people are not going to think anything other than they're just having a 3rd child and they're divorcing. I mean, I was reading that he didn't want more children. So either this is not his child, or maybe he's just really unhappy that it's his child. I don't know. Right. It makes me think about Steve Burden from General Hospital, which I watched, which I'm behind a year. I haven't watched my soap opera in a year, and I keep taping it, and I gotta just start watching it. But Steve Burton's wife, of many, many years, came out and said she was pregnant last year. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. They're having a fourth child. And he immediately shut that down, said, that is not my child, and we're separated. And as far as I know, they're divorced. I don't know who the father is. Maybe you could find that out since you're a good detective, Alexandra, but it's definitely not his child. And from that, I'm sure that's why they were divorcing, because she got pregnant with somebody else. So that reminded me of that story. Yeah.
Right. And then we have Shannon Doherty. She's divorcing her husband
Oh
of
my
11
God.
years.
That story, I cannot believe.
What did you read about it? Anything?
Well, what I read was that she had to do it. And that something, I read some kind of quote that she said today.
And no other option.
No other option but loving yourself. And that when someone doesn't treat you well, you have to move forward. Something along those lines, which makes me think that she doesn't have deep mutual respect for him, and he wasn't treating her well. I don't know financially what type of situation she's in, but it sounded like from that, she didn't feel the love from him anymore. So, and they were together a long time.
Right. She
all
said
her
he was her
cancer.
rock. Yeah, throughout the cancer.
Yeah. So
Now they're splitting up.
and so do you know any more about
I
this?
don't, but I'm a little shocked because I just know up until like very recently, she would post him all the time. And
Oh,
again, social media is so deceiving because look at Jimmy Allen and his wife. They look like such a happy family.
yes. Yeah.
Stars. Maybe they were happy at that point, but like Shannon is a tough cookie. Like she went after Fran Drescher and SAG-AFTRA because like with the cancer, she said they pulled her insurance as soon as she got sick because she couldn't work anymore. And then so she fights for like actors' rights or like having, if you know, I am in the union, I should get insurance for the rest of my life. I paid my dues. And so I just feel like for her to be like, I'm done, like that's crazy to me. Like, and she's been battling stage 4 breast cancer for so long. And I think
know.
she's like, look, I just want to live my life and be happy. And I'm not gonna like, you know, life is so short. I'm not gonna stay in an unhappy marriage. But that blew my mind.
Totally, totally. Also, I mean, I thought she had some financial issues with like beyond the acting. It was something with I wanted to say her health insurance. She had a big medical.
That's what it is. Because she should get health insurance from being a union member, having a card. And they said, if you're not working, you can't be on our insurance anymore. That's what she's mad about.
What's his deal? Is he an actor? Like, what does her husband do? I don't even know who he is.
Let's see.
Because I don't think he was, from what I thought he was a musician.
Oh,
maybe that's her second husband, because I know she had multiple husbands. So
she's been married since 2011. And I think he is, I remember she was Rick Solomon. She was married to too. But let's see what he does.
She was married to Rick Solomon?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She said the only people who deserve to be in your life are the ones who treat you with love, respect, and kindness. Her and Michelle Gellar are like best friends.
Her and who?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
She is?
Yeah. Oh, they're best friends. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what he does. She was married to Ashley Hamilton and then Rick Solomon.
So Rick Solomon, wasn't he the one that got married? Because I just watched the Pamela Anderson documentary. Wasn't she married to him?
TV producer. And this guy is a photographer. Kurt is a photographer. And Rick was a TV producer.
And wasn't he like a scummy guy? Rick Solomon? I don't remember. Did he do Girls Gone Wild? Was that?
No, that was not him.
Okay.
I mean, maybe helped out with that, but that was someone else. This is, he's known for the sex tape with Paris Hilton.
Oh my God, really?
Oh yeah, and he married Pamela Anderson and Shannon Doherty. Wow.
Okay, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Can we talk about the Shannon? I mean the
Pamela Anderson?
Because that brings me into that story.
Yeah. Okay. What you watched it? What did you think?
Oh my gosh! Well, I didn't even know about that. That was one of her. I think she's married like 3 or 4 times. He was one of her husbands, and then she remarried him. What I have a new liking and a new outlook on Pamela Anderson. You know, going into it, I was like, oh, she's sort of sleazy. She's an airhead. She was on Baywatch. She's just a sex pot. Did Playboy. I have such a newfound respect for her. Alexandra, like I could not stop watching it. I watched the documentary, the 2 documentaries I watched.
On Netflix.
Oh my God, that was one of them.
Oh.
Okay, I watched another one, which we can talk about but I watched the Pamela Anderson one, and basically it was so enlightening and sad and amazing. She started out with a very odd childhood, very sheltered in Canada. And what I found was she came from a very dysfunctional family with an alcoholic father and dysfunctional parents. Like her parents had a very weird marriage. It was because the father was an alcoholic, the mother and her put up with a lot. Because of her upbringing and because of what she went through, her childhood was very, very different from what she aspired to. And I don't really think she had in her mind that she was going to become like, because you didn't watch it, did you?
No, I mean, I
You have
watched
to
Pam and
watch it.
Tommy. I watched the Hulu one, which was like a rendition of their lives, which she did not sign off on. But I didn't watch the documentary.
Right. She is totally against that. They had such a crazy love affair, but prior to their love affair, her upbringing was so crazy. And the one thing I will say is that her mother encouraged her notoriety and her fame and pushed her and really supported whatever she chose to do. And the way this whole Playboy thing came about was incredible. She truly was discovered. I mean, she started out very mousy looking, not attractive. And as she got older, she was at some baseball game or some game.
A football game
She
with her
did this
boyfriend.
football,
Yeah,
and
she was literally
discovered.
discovered. People don't get discovered anymore. Those were
No.
the days where like you
Oh,
would
Alexandra, you have no
discovered.
idea. Incredible. But it's also sad what she had to put up with.
Right.
And what she came to realize is, you know, she fell in love very early on, very quickly. He pursued her, Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
And they only knew each other like a week or 2 weeks, kept pursuing her. And he followed her to Mexico when she was filming Baywatch, I think, and proposed, and they got married on the beach. And for someone that didn't really know each other, their marriage lasted pretty long. I think it was like, I don't know if it was, I can't remember now,
They had
but
two kids, and she said he's like always
right.
love of her life, but he's remarried now. So I
Well,
always
but the thing
wonder how
is,
his wife feels. But she
the
said she
thing
never
is, she said he was the love of her life.
Yeah.
She kept getting married, and she kept looking for that true,
She loves love.
loves laws and also true stability for her children.
Right.
And what she realized was her only true love was Tommy. But
Ooh.
she was the one that broke it off with Tommy, which I didn't realize. I didn't remember any of this. She broke it up with him because he got very angry and jealous of her being a mom and felt that he wasn't getting the attention that he should get as a husband. And she was a really good mom. That's the one thing I will say. She always put her kids first. And so she kept looking for love to support her children and
Right.
to create that family, and she could never find it. And that's why she kept picking the wrong people.
So where is she now? How did it end?
Completely on her own. She has no men in her life. She'll never get married again. She actually did Broadway last year. She did like
Oh yeah, I remember.
Chicago, which I wish I had seen maybe 2 years ago. And that gave her such great renewal. I would love, you should research it. I'm going to look her up, but I'd love to see what her plans are. As of now, I don't even know where she's living. There was one point in her life where, like I said, she married that Solomon twice. She married Kid Rock. That was short-lived. He was good to her. They
Married
really,
her old neighbor from her hometown in Canada.
that was shocking. She married him, and that only lasted a year.
Yeah.
But she says her only true love was Tommy, but yet she was the one that chose to end it.
Mhm.
And she'll always love him. So I gave her a lot of credit because she's a stronger person than we give her credit for.
Right.
She's always reminded me of Marilyn Monroe. And then I watched the Brooke Shields documentary, which the two things that I have to say that I noticed is the sadness between both these women, that they were revered by their sexuality, by their looks. They weren't taken seriously. And both, the commonality too there, the second commonality is both their mothers pushed it.
Right.
I would say Pamela's mother supported her maybe more than pushed it, but Brooke Shields' mother wanted it for her daughter and herself. That's how she defined herself. And so Brooke Shields' mother was an alcoholic. Pamela Lee's father was an alcoholic. Both mothers wanted that fame for their children. But I do feel Pamela Anderson's mother even though she was supportive of her daughter, maybe was not as pushy as Brooke Shields' mother was. And
But
that
also,
was
I would say that like Pamela, I feel like Brooke Shields broke away from the sex, maybe not when she was younger, but I feel like
100%.
she broke away from that, where I feel like Pamela, it's always followed Pam being like, oh, like the Playboy and the sex tapes, but like Brooke Shields, who was like sexualized, I feel like she really broke out of that, which is like sad.
100%, because what happened with her, like Pamela Anderson, is although she had a college degree behind her, she went to Princeton, Brooke Shields. And then what happened was years later, she got asked to do theater and she was on Broadway. So she did Broadway. And so that just set a whole
But
new
she
tone
wanted
for
to
her.
write the book, and they said, no, we don't want you to write a book about what you want. We want you to write a book about like dating advice and how to be skinny and all this stuff. So,
Oh, for Brooke Shields?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that
Wants
part.
to like write a book about something, and I think they pushed her to write about like how to not put on weight and how to, all this stupid stuff. But it's just so crazy, like how these women are like, were sexualized and known for that. And that's why I feel the documentary is so great, because you see Pam in her true form. Like she told us the story she told her story
It was
the first time to someone
so
else.
inspiring. And Brooke Shields too. And both
Yeah.
their stories are sort of sad.
Yeah.
Brooke Shields, when she ended up doing the theater, she came out of her shell, and now it wasn't just about her eyebrows or her hair or her looks. She did funny comedy after that. And so going forward, she realized she had all these great shows she could be in. She was actually funny and she was seen. Pamela Anderson, even though she did that Broadway of, I think it was Chicago, and she played Roxy, that was the only, even in that was an incredible step she took, but she still played a sexy person. Brooke
And it's hard to break out of those roles, though. That's the thing. When you're pigeonholed, they only see you like that. I just wrote a story about someone. Who was it? Oh yeah, like Elizabeth Olsen. She said like she felt like she was typecasted as only like the WandaVision. She could only be a superhero because, and so I mean that's like not a big deal, but like being typecasted as only sexual, it's so sad.
Yeah, and like Brooke Shields, I couldn't remember. I thought I saw Pretty Baby. Maybe I didn't. I watched the documentary.
Appropriate, right?
Oh my God, 12 years old and being sold to a man and having to marry a man and have her first kiss at 12. And she was interviewed on TV shows saying she felt fine and she knew this was just acting. But as you saw her do these things in the 80s and all these years, you look back and you're like, I cannot believe this mother. What kind of mother would let her daughter be sexualized? It just seems so wrong.
Right.
But we're like, now we're in more modern times, and you would think that would be fine, but no, we're all looking back on it going, that isn't fine. And I don't know, what's your take on it? I think, is it because it was the earlier years, the 80s, or do you think
I think it's so weird, and I think like a lot of people got away with a lot more back then. Like I think there's so many weird marriages and weird people who were together back then that like nobody raised an eyebrow. I don't know why, but I just think people don't tolerate it as much. Like what really was weird is, did you hear about the Dalai Lama?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like so the Dalai Lama asked the young boy to suck his tongue, and people are saying that's Thai culture, but then other people are saying like not Thai, it's like culture. And other people are saying that does he have Alzheimer's, but apparently like people in his region have literally the lowest rate of Alzheimer's because like we got to eat what they eat. Apparently like they have like no. But then it's like also they put out a statement saying he just jokes around, and it's like that's just, I don't even know. I've told so many people this randomly and they're like, suck your tongue. Like
I know,
taking that is so weird. And it's like, are there like, yeah, is this just like a predatory society? Like, are we seeing it more now? Is it like so many people among us? Like Cardi B went out and was like tweeting, and she said, guys, you should watch your children. Like predators are among us. And it's like, that was like a jarring incident.
Well, even Brooke Shields, like in her commercials, her jean commercials, everything was like more sexualized. And you think, well, it was back in the 80s or whatever. You would think it would be more conservative and now would be more acceptable. But now we're looking back on it, even though this is a social media culture, it seems so inappropriate, right? But maybe also because it's the mothers that were behind these women that instead of teaching them feminism, they just taught them use your body. And it was very hard for Pamela Anderson, especially, to get ahead. And as you see, she's never been able to have a successful marriage. Brooke Shields, on the other hand, has two daughters, both kept out of the spotlight. Although one of her daughters is going to be a model, one's in college. And Brooke Shields has a wonderful, successful marriage,
Yeah.
a long-standing marriage. And I found it really interesting to compare and contrast these two women's lives and to see that it's not all as glamorous as we would like to, make it seem. And these were women that I followed growing up, very different.
Right.
So, and, even Pamela Anderson said she was trying to get away from the whole sexualized thing, but even going on talk shows, they'd always joke with her.
So
they'd
inappropriate.
bring
The
it up.
male hosts would say like the most inappropriate things to her. I know it's crazy looking back at footage from what everyone got away with, but it was different times. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like women have spoken up a lot more now. And like,
And why are they doing the documentaries now? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Why did they do the documentaries 5 years ago? Why didn't they do it during COVID? Like, why now all of a sudden it came to them, I'm going to do it? Like, I found it fascinating. And two of the best documentaries. I really recommend.
Guys, watch that. We recommend those highly.
100%.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for following our first episode back in a long time. Obviously, celebrity news, hot takes, catch up in our lives, and of course, tangents. That's what we're known best for. But
Mother, daughter.
we will literally talk about anything.
Anything. Now that I'm I guess, non-virgin strip going mom.
Ooh, someone's been to the strip club once.
I can talk about anything. Pretty open.
Pretty open, guys.
Yeah.
DMs.
And you know what? If you have any great documentaries, send them this way. Give us some suggestions because I'm always up for watching documentaries. I'm not a good TV watcher, but I'm a great documentary watcher.
Yeah, we'll review it. Send us what you want and we'll give you our crazy, dumb, random opinions on them. Okay, guys? See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.